It's In Demand Uncut, welcoming Ezra from Vampire Weekend. How are you?
Good.
Welcome back to Glasgow.
Thank you.
When were you last here?
You know, it's been a while. I have a feeling it might have been like 2010, over 3 years ago.
Oh,
maybe Tea in the Park. Was Tea in the Park count as Glasgow?
Oh, you shouldn't really say. I think folk in Glasgow are probably fine for you to say Glasgow, and plenty of people have gone on stage and said, "Hello, Glasgow," and there's like half the crowd boo.
Okay.
And Katie Tunstall, the singer-songwriter, once went on stage and said, "Hello, Fife," and people complained because Fife's a region which is just next to Perth and Kinross. We can be really pernickety when it comes to
that was the last time we were in
things.
Scotland.
Cool.
Nobody could argue with that, right?
On to the third album, Modern Vampires of the City. How do you think the band's developed from record to record?
Well, we definitely try to make every album different and kind of like reflect where we're at. This one, I think we've gotten into some kind of new vibes, some new sentiments. Like this one's definitely a little bit darker. It's got some kind of quieter, more tender moments. But it's also still got like a lot of energy. So I don't know. I think we've just kind of expanded our palette, you know, like with every album we kind of figure out new ways we can kind of do Vampire Weekend.
There's a recurring sort of African thing going on, maybe not so much in this record, but where does that come from?
I mean, it's just a love of the music. When we started the band, we really tried to avoid what we found were kind of like boring cliches of rock music at the time, even though we really wanted to kind of start a rock band. So for us, naturally, we felt like the kind of two, to be very general, the two big traditions of electric guitar music are kind of, you know, American rock and roll, and then of course there's like and everywhere that went, and then there's kind of African pop, you know, and those are two very general categories, but those are to me like the two great electric guitar traditions. So it's kind of natural that you could kind of look to both to kind of get inspiration, and that there could be a lot of crossover between them. How
much New York is there in the sound of Vampire Weekend?
Well, it's a tricky question because New York is such a big place. I mean, definitely with this album, I think I feel like it's very much set in New York, and it's definitely, you know, for me, New York is kind of just like where my family's from. It's always going to be kind of like the center of the world to me, but that doesn't mean that that musically we're bound to it in any way. But you know, it's where our band started, and it's where we're from. So you know, New York can signify so many different things. So for us, it's something very personal, but it's definitely there.
Do you feel even more proud of being a New York band when you're touring the world?
I definitely find that the more we travel and the more of the world that I've seen, I definitely got appreciated being home more. And, you know, before, when I was like a kid and I was like really like anxious to whatever, you know, go to new places, I kind of felt like, oh, I could probably live anywhere, whatever. I'd be happy to like travel all the time. But then, you know, as I get a little bit older, I definitely feel like there's just something nice about being back in New York. And I'm definitely not like competitive about it. Like in America, there's a big New York versus LA thing, and everybody's always got something to say about it. And I think they're all like great cities. But yeah, so to me, it's like I can't really make a case for why I think New York is such a great place. If any, to me, it just kind of feels like it's just home. So, you know, it's as simple as that.
Having been around the world a few times now, do you still get excited going out on tour?
Well, I don't really get excited about, I don't know, like going back to Amsterdam or something, like the first time that we went. I mean, to me, I get a little bit more, because when you first go on tour, obviously you're excited about the shows, but you're also excited about like, oh my God, like, what are we going to like try some new kind of beer? We're going to do all these different things, and you get excited about that. So for me now, I think of touring, what I'm mostly concerned about is just making sure that we like put on a great show, you know? So the excitement of like going to a new place, that's been a little bit more replaced by the slight anxiety of like, are we going to do a great show for the people who live there? Like we've already been there. Like I've been to Glasgow. I've you know, I've seen the sights and stuff. And tonight I got to make sure that it's a good show for Glasgow. So I'm more concerned with that.
Because of course it's not like going on holiday, going on tour, is it? Or is it?
Well, less and less. I think once you get out of your system, the kind of like, oh man, I got to go, whatever. I got to go eat a you know, I got to go eat haggis. I got to like see all these new things. Once you get over that stuff in the early days, then it's more like, you know, then you might have a day where you don't leave the venue. You get there early. You spend the whole day kind of just like taking it real easy, thinking about the show the whole day. You know, maybe you start going out a little bit less because it becomes more and more just about the shows. And then, so at that point, it's definitely not a holiday.
You were a much, dare I say it, hyped band when you first emerged, and now that you've had 2 consecutive #1 albums in the States. When you first emerged, you were a band that, you know, I would comfortably name drop Vampire Weekend to sound cool.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really cool buzz band. Are you more relaxed about things now that you've had this success? You can just go on with making the music, and there isn't maybe so much pressure.
Definitely. I mean, when we first came out, at least to us in our little world, you know, when you first come out, when you're hyped, that means you got a lot of people saying that, you know, you're the next big thing, you're the greatest thing in the world at the moment. And then of course you got other people saying the exact opposite, saying, oh, these guys are not going to go anywhere, they're going to disappear. And that, when you're experiencing all that for the first time, it definitely makes you nervous. It makes you very, at least for us, it made us work very hard, which was a good thing. Like when we worked on for our second album, we were like, we really got to prove to people that we're better than they think, that we can make multiple albums. So there's definitely, you get a lot of energy from it, but there's also a little bit of fear, and you know, you got to deal with all this stuff of, oh, like whatever, older people, you know, putting you down, or you know, there's always a bit of like a smack being talked by other musicians in the beginning. At first there's a lot of things to make you nervous. But now that we've released 3 albums, we have like a genuine fan base that we feel very connected to. I've definitely chilled out a lot. Like there's just less to worry about, and it really can be more about just putting on good shows, making the music you want to make. Because now I kind of feel like no matter what happens, and I always kind of knew by the time we got to our 3rd album this would happen, because by the time you've released 3 albums that you can be proud of, it's like no matter what happens in the future, that's a career. It's a short career, you know, to be fair, but that's a career in a way that maybe 1 or 2 albums isn't exactly. So now I kind of feel like, you know, come what may, we've really like built something, and the future just kind of seems a lot more chill.
The response to Modern Vampires of the City must be really satisfying for you. Definitely.
I mean, you know, we definitely tried some different things, and because obviously, you know, we change a lot. Our first album we started making, we were still in college. Now, you know, we're kind of at the end of our 20s. That's like a pretty big time period to spend. So to feel like when people respond positively to the new album, and to feel like there's actually people now who have been listening to our band for almost 6 years. There's kids who were like 14 when our first album came out, now they're 20. To feel like people can grow with you and kind of appreciate what you're doing, that's an amazing feeling.
Ezra, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And the new album's brilliant. We're loving it on the show. So
thanks.
Congratulations for that, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.